Welcome to the module entitled IVD Regulatory Requirements in the EU. The objectives of this module are to share general information regarding regulatory requirements in the European Union for IVD manufacturers, to identify CE marking as a requirement for marketing IVDs in the EU, and to communicate upcoming changes to the regulations. The first step in learning about any regulations outside of the US is to become familiar with acronyms and new terms. These next two slides provide just a few of them to help you as you become more familiar with the EU regulations associated with IVDs. Specific IVD regulations in the European Union have only been around since the 1990s. The current regulatory oversight is by the European Commission Directive 92/79. This document is commonly referred to as the IVDD, and it is currently under a major revision. As this change is literally in progress, the content in this module will drive by the IVDD itself, thereby providing a reference from which to work from once the final revisions are in place. Before we get to the IVDD, let me present some high-level workflow steps associated with any effort to get an IVD to market in the European Union. These steps are provided in no specific order. In fact, the order might differ depending upon the situation and the product, but they include appointing an authorized representative, identifying all directives and standards that apply to your product, checking the device against the essential requirements found in the IVDD, performing the appropriate conformity assessment procedure as needed, preparing your technical file, and then working with your notified body to sign your declaration of conformity. The IVDD consists of 24 articles and 10 annexes. This screen shows the first 12. Points to focus on are Article 3, the Essential Requirements. We'll talk more about that in Annex 1. Article 9, Conformity Assessment Procedure. Article 10, Registration of Manufacturers and Devices. And Article 11, the Vigilance Procedure. Key articles of interest on this next slide include Article 15, Notified Bodies, Article 16, CE marking, which is a requirement to be able to market your IVD in the European Union, and Article 20, Cooperation between Member States. The first four annexes of the IVDD are presented here for your information. Annex 1 describes the essential requirements, which forms the base of any self-certification process. All manufacturers who self-certify, which will enable them to CE mark their product, must define the appropriate general and design and manufacturing requirements listed here. They can work with their notified body to fine-tune the details of the data, but this must be on file. Annex 2 provides guidance on how to classify your device. Right now, there are two lists, A and B. Many of the IVDs fall outside of these lists, and therefore self-certification becomes an option. This is one of the annexes that will undergo significant change once the IVDD is revised. Annex 3 provides information regarding the declaration of conformity. In other words, what must be done to enable a manufacturer to put the CE mark on their product and sell it in the European states. Annex 4 talks about the quality assurance practices associated with the declaration of conformity. Annex 5 through 10 are shown here. While the first four annexes are more focused on what's needed to get to market, the remaining annexes focus on what is needed not only to get to market, but to stay in the market. As with the US, marketing an IVD in the European Union comes with post-market responsibilities. There's a formal guidance available that explains the management of complaints, the reporting of adverse events, the monitoring of recalls, and the appropriate time when communication with the notified body would be deemed appropriate. The IVDD is in the midst of a major revision process. While nothing is yet set in stone, expected changes include a revision to the process for device classification, integration of self-testing with a special emphasis on molecular testing into the regulation, acknowledgement of in-house testing, referred to as LDTs in the US, recertification of all notified bodies by the appropriate competent authorities, and additional manufacturing responsibilities. While some of these points may yet still evolve, there is no doubt that significant change will occur in the next few years. This wraps up a short summary using the European Union as an example of additional regulatory requirements that an IVD developer has to be aware of. The point to take home is that the regulations all have a similar goal of ensuring safety and efficacy for the patient, but unfortunately they have different paths, creating an extra burden to IVD developers who wish to market their product in multiple countries. This concludes the third module from this e-learning proposal. Please take the associated assessment and continue on with the review of the final module. Thank you for your time.